Alright, let's take a look at Destro from the year 1992, vintage line. Now, I'll admit something. 1992 is probably one of, if I had to pick my favorite years of G.I. Joe, if I had to pick maybe 3 years as being my favorite years of G.I. Joe, I'll admit that 1992 would be one of those favorite years. I would actually select 1992. A lot of people I don't think would, because this was the year where things were changing. Things were really starting to change. There was the new file card, which I'll get to at the end of this video. I don't think there were very many changes other than that to the front of the card. The front of the card was still basically the same changes that took place in 1990 and in 1991. You had the color here at the top, red for Cobra, blue for Joe, that started in 1990. That was pretty much unchanged. But the back of the cards changed, most notably the file cards, which you'll see. But I think it was a change for the better. I'd even say that I really like the larger file cards. Okay, now, talking about the figure and the card art is fantastic on this damn thing. Fantastic. I just love, I've always loved it. It's always captivated it's always grabbed my imagination, I should say. I really like the expression on Destro's face, pointing ahead. Yeah, he's shooting the disc launching gimmick weapon. But this is it too, by the way, guys. If any of you are not familiar with this, this is basically the disc launcher. So it was spring activated. You basically pop these two discs into the top of it, and you pull back on this lever and let it go, and it's spring activated. So it shoots the discs out, kind of like a frisbee type of thing going on there with the discs. Oh, you know what? It's very much like the Blaster Hawk vehicle from the Vintage Masters of the Universe line. If any of you are familiar with the Blaster Hawk, the gimmick that thing had, it's pretty much the same gimmick. So now you're looking at Destro, the figure himself. I've always liked this mold. A lot of people criticize it for the head mold, for the head sculpt, that is, saying that the head sculpt is too small. Yeah. I guess I've got to admit, I think the head, if there is one problem with it, it is the head. The head is a little bit undersized, but I can get by that. I can get by it. Comes with a submachine gun there and a battle stand. So now, taking you to the back of the card. First, let's take a look at the co-cells. If any of you aren't familiar with 1992, it was a very short year. It was very, I should say, the offerings in the basic figure line were very limited. You know, you only had 12 figures, but they were all really good figures. The roadblock up there, the third one at the top, that roadblock is kind of infamous with G.I. Joe collectors as having a spring action accessory that actually had the figure recalled because it was dangerous for children. So that roadblock, the third one you see there right at the top, the original 1992 figure, is very, very sought after and very, very valuable. It goes for a pretty penny. So then you've got down here the file card. Now if any of you want to read it, and just pause it there and read that. The file cards are very different. This was the big change for 1992. But even as a young, I was a teenager back then, I was a teenager, but I was still into Joe, still into toys. They're very different. They have, the most notably, the difference is it has a face shot, which I really like, and then you've got down here another rendering of the card art, and all of the things are numbered. Everything that is important on the figure is numbered. So you've got numbers 1 refers to his weapon, and they name it, and then if you look down at the bottom, you can find out exactly what the official Hasbro name for every accessory and every piece of him is, every piece of equipment is. Laser powered rapid fire burp machine gun. Even has, you know, I like that. The laser powered rapid fire machine gun, and it even has like a little nickname for it. Like if it were a real weapon, like, you know, it would have a nickname. It's attention to detail as usual with the G.I. Joe line. So that's it. Vintage G.I. Joe figure, Destro. Enemy Weapons Supplier, year 1992. So hope you all enjoyed, fellas. Take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you all in the very near future. Bye for now.